This is the Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Darren Peterson. With me today are my co-host, Justin McCumber.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Kind of missing the theme song.
Well, you know, I seem to be getting flack when I did it twice. I figured out.
I liked it. Brian Williams in Georgia.
Oh, how you doing?
Doing great. You need some theme song, but, you know, I don't want to touch that one. And Scott Clark.
He brought the theme song on my show, too. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
We didn't give him too much flack for it.
You could say hi first.
Well, it was almost
Hey,
more
hello.
appropriate
How
on
you
your
doing?
show because it kind of went along with the
vibe.
of the conversation.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, we are a movie and entertainment news TV show podcast. Each week we talk about the newest in movie and TV news, basically review any movies that have come out. We're not reviewing anything this week because we haven't seen anything.
We're really good at our jobs.
We're broke. So, coming off the holidays, what do you want me to do? We also, every week, talk about a Flashback DVD, which is basically a little-known or obscure flick that maybe you haven't heard of, but we want to recommend to you so you can leave the show with a little something extra. This week, Justin is fulfilling that endeavor. We have a little quiz show called Stump the HO. HO being Hollywood Outsider, not actual prostitutes.
Damn it.
And a bunch of other shit. So just pay attention and you'll learn something. How's everybody doing? Good?
I'm really good.
Yeah? Are
Good.
you? Because
Yeah, doing all right.
if you're a football fan, we're not doing too good.
Ugh.
Our Packers lost.
You had to
Well,
bring
it
it
depends
up.
on what team you're a fan of, isn't it?
That's true. Go Giants. I'm just kidding.
And if by football fan you mean a Packers fan.
Exactly. And that's the audience we're playing to. Outside of that, I haven't done anything exciting. What about you guys?
Nothing that I haven't already talked about.
That's good. Then we'll skip you. Justin, Brian, anything? Nothing?
I had a scary moment earlier. I mistakenly let my wife hold my paintball gun.
Oh, I was waiting for the end of that sentence. Okay.
Is that what we're calling it
and,
now? My paintball gun?
Yeah.
She has proceeded to turn everything in the backyard, fence, trees, neighbor's shed, a bright green color. So
Good for her.
she went all Rambo all over everything.
Good for her.
Nice.
Now, did she scream as she was shooting it? Ah!
No, but she had
Charlie
had
the
most,
tree! Charlie the tree!
she had the most evil laugh this side of the Joker. So
Go Molly.
so yeah, she was a hoot to watch.
You said hoot. All right, well, let's get into the podcast. Let's start with movie news. How about that? First piece of business is if you've seen, we talked about the trailer for Chronicle a few weeks ago. That's the coming soon flick. That's basically a found footage movie about kids that realize they're superheroes and then they jump to the dark side or something like that. But the director of that, his name is Josh Trank, and he's being considered by Fox for a Fantastic Four reboot, which I had no idea they were rebooting it, and I see no reason why they need to, except maybe to jazz it up, update it a little bit. But the movies, like, the sequels aren't that old.
Yeah. The last one came out, like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Is it one of those things where if they don't, then they lose the rights to
Probably.
Yeah,
that franchise?
That's exactly what it is. They Fox actually controls the rights to the Fantastic Four and a few other properties like X-Men, Daredevil, and Silver Surfer. So if they don't make the movies, control relinquishes back to Marvel Comics. So that's what it all boils down to, is they have to do something with it. Otherwise, they lose their rights.
So why a reboot, not another sequel?
Well, because some of the actors moved
Fantastic
on.
Four sucked. Unlike the Spider-Man
Pretty much.
franchise that was, where the third one kind of teetered, though I didn't hate it nearly as much as everybody else did. At least the Spider-Man movies were kind of good and great in some areas. The Fantastic Four blew from minute one right to the end of the second film.
I like Chris
I
Evans.
almost am okay with this reboot because it sucked so bad.
I
Who do you
liked
wanna
Chris
see?
Evans. I liked Chris Evans a lot.
I
He
do
was
too.
fine, but does anybody honestly buy what the hell her name is?
Jessica Alba?
Jessica Alba as Sue Storm.
I would
No.
buy her.
No.
I would buy her. Is she for
No.
sale?
And I'm sorry, the thing being practical, I know everybody wants practical effects. CG sucks, do practical, wah, wah. The thing looked like shit. So between him and Sue Storm, and Galactus, don't even get me started on what they did with the Galactus.
The
So,
Cloud?
fuck it. Blow that shit up. Let's start over. Nuke
All right.
it from orbit.
But
So
keep Chris Evans.
we've got Justin McCumber's viewpoint.
Sorry.
Who do you want to see in the reboot?
I wouldn't mind Chris Evans actually coming back, but he's
Just
no
him?
Captain America, so who knows?
No.
He was perfect. I thought he was the only one that had anything going on in that franchise.
He was good.
I liked him.
I thought the guy who played the Thing was not bad. The guy from The Shield.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. Michael Chiklis.
He sounds just like the Thing. I mean, he had the voice down.
He was fine.
It was strictly the look.
Right.
Yeah.
It looked like somebody just put a bunch of styrofoam cups, painted them orange, and glued them on him.
Yeah, it never looked like a rock. That's for sure.
It looked like rubber. It really
Yeah.
It did. He looked like the Michelin Man, like the big giant tire guy.
Like when he's old, and the rubber's cracking.
Okay, well, moving on. There's two things that I haven't breast my group here on, but I'm going to run through them anyway. Progress has already begun on the Hunger Games sequel, Catching Fire. So they're already starting on it, even though the first one isn't out yet. Simon Beaufoy is adapting the Suzanne Collins novel, and Gary Ross, who directed the first movie that isn't out yet, is locked in to return as director. So that's already got a release date of November 22nd, 2013.
Wow, that's pretty quick, actually.
That's pretty
Year
quick.
and a half.
As well, as long as the film does well, the sequel is already in play.
I actually read a newspaper article today, or part of a newspaper article today on that, how Hunger Games is vying for the top movie of the first half of the year.
Well,
Like,
I can see that. The book series is pretty popular. So
it is, but it's pretty popular by readers. You know what I mean? I mean, there's not a lot of people that even I've talked to a lot of people about this because I've been reading the series, and nobody's even heard of it. So
yeah,
They're gonna have to-
Harry Potter is kind of a book too. Just saying.
yeah, that's a good point.
Well, there are examples on both sides of a much beloved franchise getting a lot of success in the theaters, and then those that don't. I mean, how many people read that fantasy Aragon or whatever it was called? A lot of kids loved the shit out of that, but it didn't stop that movie from tanking, nor did it stop The Golden Compass from tanking either.
And I've heard that the
So
books
there's
of those
not
are
a
actually pretty good.
guarantee that a lot of readers is going to translate into a healthy audience. Hopefully it will, though.
The movie looks quality. Gary Ross is actually a good director, so I'll give it a shot. But the sequel's locked in, so if you guys run off and see it when it first comes out, there'll be another one.
Sorry if I trampled on you, Scott. I didn't mean to.
No, it's
No,
okay.
he likes being trampled on.
He likes that little rough stuff.
He likes it
All right.
rough. Another quick piece of it. This is just quick. Madman's Abigail Spencer, she dropped the news, which this goes to Brian's theory that only the actors drop big news. But she dropped the news that she's hopped aboard the new Joss Whedon project, which is coming up as soon as he wraps up the Avengers. But nothing else is known about it except that it's a supernatural romance. More details are coming out in the next week or two. It just cracks me up because the actress is saying something and not Joss Whedon or somebody else affiliated with the movie.
It's becoming kind of, isn't that the second time that happened in the past couple of
It
weeks?
happens a lot. They get excited because they got a job and
If Joss Whedon hired me for something,
Yeah.
yeah, I tell
ain't no
everybody.
NDA in the world that would stop my squeeing.
I tell everybody. I'd probably do it on the podcast last. To be honest with you, I tell everybody else. And I just mention. Oh yeah, by the way,
I'd be
guys.
driving around just shouting it out my window. I'm working with Joss Whedon.
Well, I just thought that was interesting. Back to news that these guys are actually aware of. Marcus Nispel he directed the Friday the 13th remake and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. He's taken on a movie called Hack Slash Slash. It's Hack little slash then called Slash. It's a flick about the lone girl survivor in horror films who it's based, I guess, on a graphic novel. I'm not aware of it, but who crosses the country hunting down serial killers, like slasher killers. That's kind of a cool concept.
It's a cool concept. I need to see more to be sold on it. That could either be really awesome or an epic failure.
Well, basically, it seems like they're turning the genre on its head a little bit and having the survivor hunt down the killers.
Yeah, but is it a parody or is it an actual serious movie? I can't really tell.
I think it's serious. What were you gonna say, Brian?
Go buy the comic. Go buy the comic book. Find out.
Well, la-di-da. Well, we're here right now. What do you have to say about it now?
All right, I'll be right back.
Pause.
Yes. We'll be back in 3 days.
I mean, it's kind of using that Buffy convention of turning the character who's usually the hapless victim into the killer or the hero. So, there's a fine little tradition of this, and I'm curious to see what they do with it. But I've never heard of this property, so I don't know what they're doing.
I haven't either, but it sounds kind of cool, doesn't it? As horror movie fans, I mean, I really kind of...
Like I said, when I first read about it, I liked the idea. I could just see it being trying too hard if it's not done right.
It could do. Well, you guys saw that the Golden Globes came on, right? Everybody here loves...
The what?
The Golden Globes. That's where rich people
Never
applaud
heard of
each
it.
other. Yeah. Well, that was recently on.
It sucked.
Did you watch it? I thought parts of it were pretty good. Ricky Gervais, I thought was
parts
okay.
of it was, but the overall product was pretty weak.
Yeah,
But
it was.
strong start, but it just fell apart after that.
Well, Ricky Gervais, I thought did okay. I think he kind of pussied out. He could have brought the thunder a little bit more, like he did last time.
I didn't watch it last year. I saw him read
He
his...
didn't want to make Hollywood cry again.
No, but he did ask Johnny Depp if he's seen The Tourist yet. That was pretty funny. And Johnny Depp looked high as a fucking kite. He looked like Jack Sparrow. He really did.
Really?
He did, yeah.
Johnny Depp's
saw
just
him,
lighting cigarettes with money.
He is. It's not cigarettes, man.
I saw him make a crack at Madonna talking about like a virgin.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Well, real quick, here's...
Yeah, in his Irish accent.
Yes. Johnny Depp was doing an Irish accent for no reason at all. Just came... I'm telling you, he looked high as a kite. Just high as a kite. Somebody needs to go jump down his street, because...
If I was him, I'd probably be high as a kite, too. Why not?
Yeah, what are you going to do? I'm Johnny
Right.
Depp.
I'm fucking Jack Sparrow.
Or as he said, I'm Johnny Depp, bitches. He just high as a
Is that
kite.
how he talked?
Dude, he was gone. Just gone. Only he sounded like a Boondock Saint. Real quick, the winners for the film side of the Golden Globes were the Best Picture Drama was The Descendants. That's the George Clooney movie. Best Actress in a Motion Picture was Meryl Streep. Shocker.
Surprise.
As for the Iron Lady, where she played Margaret Thatcher. Best
I bet
Act.
the Streep lady's got a big career ahead of her.
Yeah, I think she might make it in Hollywood. Best Actor in a Drama was George Sexy Clooney, for The Descendants. Best Motion Picture Music or Comedy was The Artist. Yay. Best Actress in a...
Isn't it some foreign piece of crap?
Yes, it is. Which it should be just a foreign movie. Get it out of that fucking American categories.
That's right. Stop stealing our awards.
That's right. Best Actress in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, Michelle Williams, My Week with Marilyn, or better known as Heath Ledger's kid's mom. Best Actor in a Motion Picture Music or Comedy was Jean Dujardin for The Artist. I don't really care if I got his name right because I'll probably never have to say it again. So,
But his wife gets the award for the best nipple slip of the award show.
Yeah, her nipple popped out. God bless her. God bless her.
Guess I'm gonna have to
She's
see
an
that.
artiste.
I hope somebody was fired.
I hope somebody got a close up so they can put it on the internet. Okay, moving
I
on.
can't believe I missed The Descendants. I'm really hating that I missed that.
Great reviews across the board. They're saying that that's a shoo-in for an Oscar nod, so we'll see what happens. Exhibitors are upset that Disney already has the 3D version of Beauty and the Beast on Blu Ray in stores. Theater owners apparently feel it's not very fair to their business model to have the product in stores when the movie shows up at the theaters.
How many people own a 3D TV right now?
8.
I mean,
And one of them is Jerry Bruckheimer. So
I mean-
7.
Well, when did Beauty and the Beast 3D hit theaters?
Friday?
Okay, and it
this
came
in
out on
October.
DVD Tuesday?
It came out in October.
Oh, so the DVD for the 3D version came out in October, but now the movie's coming out now.
Yes, because Lion King made
So
so
they've
much
known
money.
for fucking 3 months that this movie was already in theaters.
Well,
Or already in stores.
Yes, exactly.
What the fuck are they bitching about? They've known for 3 months.
Because they felt like you should pull it from the stores while you have it in the theaters to entice people to go to the theater. My argument would be the people that are going to go to the theater are going to go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
They know they can eventually buy that shit on, Blu-ray. So they want to go see it in the theater. Those are the people that are going to go see it anyway, I think.
I agree.
I don't know.
Disney just pulls out their big
Yeah.
wing and says, "What?"
Here, spend $15 to go see it in the theater, or spend $2,500 to get a 3D TV and glasses for all my family, and then a copy of the DVD, the Blu-ray.
And those
Yeah.
3D Blu-rays are expensive.
Yeah, that one. They said that they dropped the price from $49.99 to $34.99.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine spending $50 on a 15. How old is that movie? 20-year-old.
If you're a Disney
But it's
fan,
the 3D version, bro. It's like all over again.
and it's in your face.
It's all up in your face.
I'm in your face.
I actually kind of want to see that. I'm not gonna. I do.
The flaming La Flamme or whatever his name is all burning up in your grill.
I think that ballroom scene will look gorgeous in
yeah.
3D. I don't care how gay it makes me. I want to see it.
I'm the one that said it to you.
No, I
I'm
said
not
it. I
interested
said
until
it.
I get some clamshell titties. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's coming. You're getting a Little Mermaid.
Yes.
You're getting clamshell titties in your face.
Yes.
So Disney
Come up out of that ocean, just pow.
I think you're right though. Disney probably sends a reply letter that says, "Haha." That's it.
And
Do something.
Like it's not gonna make money. Like it's not gonna bring people.
They probably put it on Twitter. Step to me, bro.
Mhm. Come at me, bro.
All right. Last piece of news before trailers. There is talk that 8 minutes of a Deadpool film with Ryan Reynolds has already been shot. Kind of as they're trying to get the backing to make the actual movie.
And this came from Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. All right. God, I can't stand that guy.
Hey, it's possible. I really hope it's true because you guys know the Deadpool movie's been talked about for a while, right?
Yeah.
Since Wolverine came out and Ryan Reynolds kind of
Plus there was
caused
a
the fervor.
little teaser of it at the end of the last Wolverine movie that he was still out there, kind of thing. So
Yeah, well, I think they're going to redo the entire thing.
And I hope they do
I
because
hope
his
so.
character as him
Yeah, I
before
hope
he
so.
turned was awesome.
Because a mute Ryan Reynolds is of no
Yeah,
interest.
so
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
The part that was interesting to me was the part where he was talking about shooting people's face off. It was kind of neat about the, they didn't say much about the clip, but when he said shooting people's face off, that kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's
that's where
interesting.
that's where you got excited.
I mean, is this going to be
I'm
the
just
first?
saying, it's not something you see in the movies too often. Thought it sounded pretty cool.
Yep.
And this seemed odd to me that this is going to be an R-rated X-Men movie, which will be a first, right?
It needs to be. It's Deadpool.
I know.
The dude's shooting faces off. You don't do PG-13 of shooting faces off.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of cool. I like to see a little bit more darker X-Men movie.
Yeah. It's not an X-Men movie.
Well,
It's Deadpool. It's its
He's
own
an
thing.
X-Men character.
Deadpool had his own thing. He had his own comic book and everything.
well, yeah. it's a
I'm looking
spin-off.
forward to seeing it. I like Ryan Reynolds, and so anything that'll get him back into an action film, I'm all for.
Where he's not wearing green.
Yes.
I liked Green Lantern. Everybody can just kiss my butt.
I know Brian did too.
I'll pass. I'll pass on that. Okay, well, that's it for movie news. Let's look at a couple of new trailers, which are always available on the website, thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Trailers, recent episodes. We're actually doing the last 4 or so episodes of trailers, so you can always find them on there. Or at least you always can for 4 weeks, I guess. That wouldn't be always, would it? I'm fucking blowing my own mind. The first
You're
one,
incepting yourself.
I am. I'm incepting myself. The first one is Exit Strategy. That is basically a Tyler Perry flick without Tyler Perry.
No, it actually looked funny, which makes it not a Tyler Perry flick.
Really?
That's true.
I liked it. When I watched it, I genuinely enjoyed, and I think what I liked a lot about it is it had a very indie feel as opposed to that overly polished, almost sterile feel that I get from most of the Tyler Perry trailers, where they look so ready for big theater and a big audience. This movie had a much indier feel. I liked that. I thought it looked genuinely funny, and the fact that it was such a cast of a lot of African American actors, yet not Tyler Perry, really kind of caught my interest.
I think it looks funny. It's a funny concept, but at the same time, the girl actress, I don't know her name. I've never heard of her. Just looked like she was trying a little too hard in a couple of those scenes. Granted, I'm not seeing it in context, but I don't know. Even in the trailer, it seemed awkward and like, would this really happen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think it looks like a Tyler Perry movie. So,
there was a white guy in
or
it.
one of those like before Jamie Foxx got famous. Like
You're
he
just one
was,
of those guys who thinks all black people look alike. They don't.
they do in my neighborhood. Just kidding. Tyrone, I'm sorry. Aren't they all named Tyrone? Tyrone Jackson?
Wow.
Vote for Obama. No, seriously, it looks like one of those kind of. It looks funny, but it looks like one of those Jamie Foxx movies, like before he became famous, before he was
For that Tom Cruise movie and before Ray.
Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, he was so good in Collateral.
Collateral.
Collateral, yeah. Couldn't think of the name.
No,
Yeah, Collateral,
he
yeah.
did a lot of
Oh,
those small, urban comedies, but it was all black cast, so, whatever you call it.
There was a white guy
It was
in this
before
one.
Tyler Perry became famous.
Yeah.
No, there was never a white guy in those movies. Did you watch
No, in
them?
this one.
Booty Call, stuff like that. It reminds me of those.
Do I look
movies.
like I've seen Booty Call?
Yes. It's a funny movie. You should check it out. Okay, the next one is Friends with Kids. It looks like it's basically just a bunch of friends, and the center friendship end up having a kid, and they agree on a deal that they're just going to do it as friends, and of course, feelings get in the way. Blah 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 blah. The reason that I brought the trailer up and mentioned it to everybody and said, "Hey, let's check this out," is Kristen Wiig and John Hamm are playing a real couple in it. From Bridesmaids, the two that were in Bridesmaids are playing a real couple, and I thought
And Maya
they
Rudolph
looked
is in it.
good. They look like a real good couple.
And Maya Rudolph's in it too. There's like 3 from Bridesmaids. In it.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It's like Bridesmaids Light.
This is the secret Bridesmaid sequel.
It is. It's the Bridesmaids.
I don't care about this movie. I
At
think
all?
the premise is kind of funny, actually. I'm going to see all of these same characters, and I'm going to see Bridesmaid. I just feel like I'm sorry about that, and I'm going to be having Bridesmaids in my head for this whole movie.
Yep.
It's just about bringing the whole cast over, switched up a couple roles, and that's it. But you got kids involved, so
I'm with Brian, but for different reasons.
the premise looks funny, but
Yeah. I think the premise, the idea is really clever, but we already know how it's going to end. I mean,
Yeah, they all end like
yeah,
that.
you don't end up.
Yeah, but Kristen Wiig and John Hamm, I like them together. I think they're funny
End with
together.
Wilson Phillips.
Yes. They'll play whatever their other hit was.
Oh, do they have another hit?
They had to have at least one more song. I would
I don't
imagine.
know, bro. I think that was it.
I love watching those.
Maybe they'll bring Nelson on this time.
Oh Jesus. Okay, the last trailer, and again, you can see all these trailers on the HollywoodOutsider.com. Casa de mi Padre. Casa, I
Man,
can't.
you are so white.
Why don't you get your wife to read it?
I know, my wife is Spanish. That's the funny part. Casa de mi Padre. It basically, house of my father. I know what it fucking
Yes.
means. Okay, so my wife is Spanish and loves Will Ferrell, and he, which is why I kind of gave this a look. But it's a movie that is entirely in Spanish, and Will Ferrell's in it, and
It's not Will Ferrell, dude.
it's Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yes, and that's how they say his name. Oh my god, it looks so fucking funny, and especially since I have suffered through more Telemundo bullshit in my lifetime than any other white guy on the planet should ever have to, because my wife is Spanish. Trust me, I've watched a lot of Telemundo. I have no idea I don't know what I can kind of get what they're talking about, but all I see are real dramatic looks and
But they got some hot women on those
gorgeous
shows,
women.
bro.
Gorgeous.
God.
Gorgeous. And this looks like 2 hours of Telemundo with Will Ferrell, who honestly fits perfectly in that environment. What did you guys think?
I think this makes a funny trailer. I think the movie's going to be hard to sit through for an hour and a half.
I gotta agree with Scott.
I want it to work. I'm unsure that it can.
Yeah. I was sold when I saw the opening shot of Will Ferrell speaking Spanish with it subtitled, but I don't see this being great. I hope I'm wrong, but funny trailer. I laughed in the trailer.
It's funny. You speak American?
No habla americano, señor.
Americano, senor. Oh, it looks funny. Well, I'll be checking that out in theaters because I'll have to, because it's in Spanish, and that I can pretend like I care about something my wife's into. So that's it for movie news. Once again, all those trailers you can see on thehollywoodoutsider.com. Trailers, recent episodes. We're gonna go into
Stump the HO.
Stump the HO. We kind of changed the format, at least where stuff is this week. And we're going to do Stump the HO now. We're going to do the question, and then we're going to do the answer at the end of the show, kind of to keep you in suspense. So, for those of you that have never listened to the podcast before, Stump the HO.
Shame on you, by the way.
Yeah, shame on you. Go back and listen to some old ones. But actually, and thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Give me your home address, and we'll send you a thank you card.
Are you the good cop and I'm going to be the bad cop?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
But this is our weekly trivia question, where basically one of our podcasters tries to stump the other podcasters, which is what Hollywood Outsider, what HO means, with a trivia question. We're not allowed to Google it or anything else, and basically, go ahead, Scott. What's your question?
All right, I hope this isn't too easy, but
that would kind of go against the purpose.
Well, I know, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be too easy or if it's just too out there. But I was looking for a question and I dug through which were my favorite movies, and I've talked about on the show before that my favorite movie of all time is Fight Club. Mm-hmm. I love the writing in that movie. I just love that movie, and I found a pretty interesting tidbit of information that was actually brought to my attention that I wanted to try to put in the form of a question. So there's a scene in Fight Club, they call it the infamous pillow talk scene, where Tyler Durden and Marla just got done ravaging the crap out of each other. And
Having intercourse?
Having intercourse.
Monkey sex?
Coitus.
Yeah.
Relations.
They were fornicating. And in a scene in the movie, she rolls over on her bed and says the phrase, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school."
Okay.
All right. Now, this was not the original line from either the book or the original screenplay. So which of these 4 lines was the original line that was swapped out for that line?
Oh, this is a real hard question. Okay, go.
All right. A is, "I want to have your abortion." B, "Next time you get to be the urinal." C, "You remind me of my stepfather." Or D, "I'm not going to sit right for a week."
Sit right or shit right?
Sit right.
Okay, I'm thinking of Bad Santa.
Is the question clear enough?
Yeah, I'm going to go with "I want to have your abortion."
Yeah, I'm going with A.
All right, Brian?
Yeah, I'm going with A.
All right.
Okay.
Sweet.
And we will come back. We'll have the answer at the end of the show, so sit through. Let's move on to the big screen where we talk about what's new in theaters. We normally review a film if there's one to review. Like I said earlier, we're broke. We haven't seen anything.
Well, nothing good came out.
Well, I want to see
I can't
Contraband.
say that.
I want to see Contraband. But
Would you want to go see that movie if Marky Mark wasn't in it? Would you be interested in seeing that?
I like thriller. I like crime thrillers like that.
But I'm saying that isn't the fact that a higher profile actor...
I mean, he gives me a good vibration about seeing it, yeah.
But if he weren't in it, it would be a straight-to-DVD movie. Let's be honest.
Probably. So would most movies that come out with actors, big name actors in them, man.
Yeah.
We'll have at least one review next week, though. I'll promise you.
Okay.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff coming out I want to see.
Yeah, we'll have stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see Haywire. Okay, well, at the box office, and I only do this really quick because some people tell me they care, so I'm going to go over it. Contraband opened at number 1, so Marky Wahlberg can open a movie. $24 million. $24 million for Marky Mark. Go Marky Mark.
There's nothing else.
So that means there might be a Contraband 2. Who knows? Beauty and the Beast 3D opened to $18.5 million.
But how could it open up to that much, Aaron? The DVD's out.
I don't know. That's an excellent question for Walt Disney, who's dead. And Joyful Noise, which is that classic Dolly Parton, If She's Still Alive movie, opened to $11 million. That thing's going to be gone from theaters.
She looks so sweet, but is there a knob on the back of her head that they just turn once a year to tighten that face? I mean, eventually she's going to have a goatee.
They actually referenced that in the movie. I saw a clip of it when she was on one of the talk shows,
mm-hmm.
and they're making fun of her plastic surgery.
She's 66, man.
know.
She looks like Joan Rivers. I don't understand.
No, Joan Rivers looks like the Madam Puppet they used to have way back in the day.
She does.
And that
yeah,
bitch
she
looks
does.
fake.
It's really good.
Awful.
But before we get off this, what's number 6, Aaron?
Number 6 is The Devil Inside.
What plummeted from 1st to 6th?
76% it lost.
76%.
Yeah.
That's because everybody listened to this show and your review.
That's right.
Thank God.
Everybody
Thank
listened
you.
to Justin McCumber or went on YouTube and listened to Justin McCumber. And which, by the way, we have a YouTube channel. Find it. But 7.9 million. 7.9 million. So it's made 46 million. It's profitable. It's made a lot of money, but it's gone.
Hopefully this drop-off shows them, hey, you may have fooled me once. Fooled me twice. You can't get a kidder.
You really think it's going to fool them? We'll
I
talk
know.
about that later, actually.
Ugh.
Okay, quick mention, last week's episode 24, if you want to know more about the January 20th releases, Haywire, Underworld Awakening, and Red Tails, we talked about those then. I really want to see Haywire still.
Underworld. Kate Beckinsale, tight leather. Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, that's a good sales pitch. They should just put that in the marketing. Just
You
call
could sell me anything.
it should be the tagline. Kate Beckinsale. Did you get? That's the best joke from the Golden Globes, by the way. When Seth Rogen came out with Kate Beckinsale, and all he said was, "I'm trying really hard to hide a major erection right now." Fantastic joke.
Did she know that was coming?
I don't think she knew because she
Was her
looked like
reaction-
she couldn't compose herself for a minute.
She's just like the sweetest looking woman that could kick my ass.
She could, if she wanted to. She's more than welcome. Well, coming out January 27th in wide release, the first movie that's coming out is called The Gray. That is Liam Neeson leading a bunch of oil riggers whose plane crashed when they were on the way back home in through the Alaskan wilderness. They have to battle the cold and the ice and shit, but they also have to battle a pack of wolves, angry wolves from the trailer. They look angry.
I thought it was about aliens.
You thought it was about Alien? The Gray? Nice.
The Gray.
Nice. What do you guys think about this? Is this concept kind of grabbing you?
It's like Taken Alaska edition or something. I don't know. It looks fine. Just it looks kind of depressing. I mean, it's a dude in the wilderness and he's fighting for his life. It's not a lot of fun to be had there. And maybe that's not, you don't always have to have fun, but fuck, it looks like just 2 hours of pain and misery. And I don't know if I'm up for that, but I wish I was.
It's got Liam Neeson with like makeshift Wolverine claws. How can you not sit through that?
That's true.
That's true.
That is
That's
true.
Pretty cool.
It's taking
I'll
wolves.
see it when it hits video, but sitting in a theater with that long, with that kind of film, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, we saw Castaway already. I mean, it's not the same.
Well, I don't think Wilson was eating his balls, which these wolves might. So there is that.
Wilson, stop it!
I kind of want to see that movie. Make Castaway 2. Oh.
Wilson.
Okay, that's The Gray. That's coming out. The next one is Man on a Ledge. That's with Sam Worthington, who you might know as the Avatar guy. He's an ex-cop kicked off the force for stealing from a rich businessman that he says he didn't steal. Stands on a ledge of a high-rise, seemingly to commit suicide, all the while plotting to steal the very thing he was accused of stealing already. I've already got my mind blown. I don't know about you guys. But it looks kind of like a decent little crime thriller. I don't know. There's a lot of these movies coming out at the same time.
I think I'd like that movie better if I didn't know the underlying premise, what was going on.
If they didn't tell you everything in the trailer
Yeah.
from what it looks like.
Right.
Like, I was into the trailer when I first saw it until I knew that stuff was going on. I knew there was something going on, but I didn't know what it was. And then it just gave away too much information. That would have been a nice surprise seeing in the movie in the theater.
Yeah, but how do you market that? Because then it would just be like, all right, a guy was accused
phone booth.
A guy was accused of stealing shit, and then he threatens to jump off a building. That's all you tell him in the trailer. I don't want to see that movie. That sounds really boring.
I think you show a bunch of action.
No, but
shots.
you can show a little bit more than what or a little bit less than what they have been showing. I mean, they probably 95% of the plot at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What they did is they gave too much context to what you were seeing, with the little voiceover of him while they're showing what these other people are doing. If you show things out of context or without context, then at least you don't know the whole fucking plot before you sit your ass down in the theater. I really have no interest in seeing this whatsoever.
All right. Well, I do. All right, the last movie that's coming out, maybe this is more up Justin's alley, is One for the Money. That's with that smoking hot Katherine Heigl.
She's so hot.
She's
God,
so
she's
hot.
so hot.
Katherine Heigl is an unemployed woman desperate for work who turns to the life of a bounty hunter for a bail bondsman to make ends meet. And of course, she ends up pursuing a wanted cop who's like her ex-boyfriend. This timeless classic writes itself.
Didn't we see this movie already?
It's called The Bounty Hunter,
Yeah.
but with a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. Except there,
Isn't this based on a book?
yeah, there's
Or
like a
am I
series.
mistaken?
There's like a series of books. That doesn't make it sound any better.
I'll probably catch it when it comes out on video as a rental. That's as far as it goes, and only because I think she's incredibly hot, and I will be waiting for a little slip of something. That's
Yeah,
a sad reason, I know.
Yeah, my wife's read the book. She's excited for it, which means that I'll have to go see it. So
You
Yay.
do a lot of I have to go see it because my wife wants to go.
pretty much, hey, she suffers through some of my bullshit, so it's fair.
here's what I wish everybody would do, is stop going to Katherine Heigl movies. Not because I don't like her, I like her a lot. But the quicker she hits a downward spiral, the quicker she's going to do nude scenes. And
That's true.
I really want to catch her in her prime. And I don't really want to wait until...
She looks like Joan Rivers.
Yeah, I don't want the Joan Rivers years. I want this to happen soon. And right now, she's still got it going on a little bit. I like to check out her knocked upness.
Because not every woman can be Carla Gugino, whatever her name is.
Oh, God bless America. Yeah.
Oh, man. She seems to, the older she gets, the hotter she gets.
I just ordered Sin City on Blu Ray.
God, she looks good.
I want to borrow that.
Yeah.
All sorts of naked.
Naked.
She's an incredibly attractive woman, both in her face and everything else. She's gorgeous.
So was the black and white not clear enough for you on regular DVD?
It wasn't. No.
Okay.
I'll imagine
checking.
that would look really sharp on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I don't own it on DVD, actually. So
Okay.
I don't double dip very much. Except for Spider-Man. I bought that shit on Blu-ray.
Okay.
God, I
Okay.
do. I think I
Sam
bought
Raimi,
Star
yeah,
Wars
kinda-
in just about every iteration it's ever been out
Well,
on.
I guarantee you, everyone that's listening is surprised by that.
Fuck off.
January 27th. Okay, just to rehash, The Gray, that's the Liam Neeson flick about being stranded, fighting off wolves with broken glass and shit on his fingers. Man on a Ledge, Scott's version of the story is a guy who just stands out there and wants to kill himself. My version, there's some other shit going on. One for the money, Katherine Heigl doing something, but looking pretty while she's doing it. So, which one of you guys, what's the pick of the week, Scott?
Just The Gray, just by process of elimination.
None of these really make you want to go, yay!
Not too much. I mean, The Gray I might watch on DVD or something, but I'm not going to run to a theater to see it.
Okay. Justin, what's your pick of the week?
Haywire.
Hey, what? That's not an option. Pick a different one.
The Gray, if I had to pick one of these three.
Brian?
Yeah, The Gray. It was one of my more anticipated movies of this first quarter of 2012. So
Which you
I'll
can
go
hear.
with The Gray.
Yeah, which you can hear on last week's episode. Mine is actually going to be Man on the Ledge. I kind of think it's an interesting concept. I like to see how it plays out. A lot of actors in it I like. So
You disappoint me.
The Gray is one that I don't know if I want to see it in a theater. It really seems like,
I don't want to see any of them in a theater.
well, Man on the Ledge, it seems like the kind of movie I would want to see in a theater. And I don't want to see one for the money until I have to. Like, I really have
It
to.
looks like this year's Vantage Point.
What?
like-
I loved Vantage Point.
I mean,
But of course it has Dennis Quaid, so I'm pretty biased.
Yeah.
So try to keep that in mind.
like a clever concept. I just don't know that it's going to be that big of a thrill ride to me. And that's what Vantage Point was for me.
Well, that's cool.
What was the Denzel Washington movie a few years back? That was the kind of the jail. It was the heist. It was the thieving movie.
Training Day?
Oh, no. Anyway, it
Inside
reminds me of
Man.
that movie.
Inside Man.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, that Spike Lee
Good
joint?
call.
Yeah, Inside Man.
I like that one, though.
It was good. Yeah.
Well, you don't know if you're going to like this one. It's not out yet.
Nah, I judged it. Fuck it. Move on.
All right. Well, that's it for the big screen. We'll have a review of something next week. We apologize for that. None of us got a chance to get to the theater, actually. So, let's move on to we're gonna try something a little new. We're not gonna play trailers during our own personal breaks anymore. Basically, what we're gonna do is every week we're gonna have a new "What's That Movie" quote, which is we're gonna play real quick, 15-second movie quote, and we'll tell you what movie it's from next week. So kind of a little game. And if you want to guess what it is, you can reach us on Facebook at The Hollywood Outsider or Twitter, H_Outsider, or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. So right now, here's this week's clip from Dustin Baker, one of our listeners. This was his suggestion. Here you go.
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
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 And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
And that was this week's What's That Movie clip. So if you think you know the answer, make sure to send us a twat or pop up on Facebook, or send us an email.
What?
Send us a twat. Okay, let's go into the couch. That's where we talk about TV news and what new we've seen. Word on the street. This is what they announced. A&E is going to do a psycho prequel called Bates Motel.
That was clever. I see what you did there.
Psyquel?
Sequel?
A sequel. God damn it. Psycho prequel called Bates Motel is in the works at A&E to look into Norman Bates' psyche. I like the idea and the concept. I just wish they wouldn't fuck with a classic, I guess. Yeah. Sounds to me like they're taking a stab at Dexter.
I think the fucking with the classic thing has already been done with Psycho 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I hate those too.
So.
But
Well, I'm just saying the fucking with has already been done. They might as well do something that might make it a little bit better.
It's already been fucked. So what's another? Couple pokes.
Wow, it's just the Houston 500 at this point. Do you guys think this is a good idea?
No.
No?
I think it's a terrible idea. But you know what? I just realized.
That you haven't seen the Houston 500?
No.
Okay.
Norman Bates and then Jason Bateman. Both have Bates in the last name. And I'm kind of wondering if that last name wasn't inspired by...
Well, so does Kathy Bates. What's your point?
Bates. Well, I'm talking American Psycho, Bates, Bateman. I'm just kind of wondering if that wasn't some kind of subtle homage to Psycho.
What the?
Kathy Bates fucked up James.
You can eat my ass, whatever.
All right. Well, while everybody ponders that.
Was that a Misery reference right there?
Yeah, it might have been. Golden Globes. Back to Golden Globes. Here's the TV categories. Or winners, not categories. The best TV series for drama was Homeland. Yay, Brian. That's your favorite little show. One of your favorite shows. Best actor in a TV series drama, Kelsey Grammer in Boss. Barely even knew he was still acting. And he thanked his current wife, which I think he's been married like 8 times. Like she was the inspiration. I'm like, she wasn't even there when you started.
He's been married twice this year already.
Exactly. He's like, is it 2012? Fuck, I gotta get a new one.
He writes their name on his palm every morning. Which one is this one again? Which one is this one again?
Fuck, he just tattoos X's. He stopped writing names anymore.
Fucking memento boy. Just got him going up his arm like a sleeve.
Best actress in a TV series drama, Claire Danes for Homeland. Very cool. Best TV series comedy, Modern Family, as it should be. And by the way, when that won, I saw Salma Hayek, who is my all-time favorite, hottest woman alive, and Sofia Vergara on the same stage at the same time.
Christ.
That's
too much Latin hotness for one screen to contain.
I couldn't stand up. I couldn't.
Oh, God.
My wife's like, you really like Modern Family, don't you? I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's a good show.
I mean, there's like 4 boobs worth of bra, Oh,
it's just all kinds of gorgeous. Oh, anyway, best actress in a comedy, Laura Dern for Enlightened. Never seen it, don't want to.
That's a show?
Yeah. Best actor in a TV series. This is kind of funny to me. Matt LeBlanc for playing himself in episodes. He's actually playing a character called Matt LeBlanc. He's playing himself.
Is it meta? I'm guessing.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. But he's Matt LeBlanc playing Matt LeBlanc, and he won the Golden Globe for playing himself.
He had a very riveting performance.
He did. Well, nobody can play him but him. So,
I've never heard of the show either.
I think it's on Showtime.
Yeah, it's on Showtime.
So,
The BBC's Sherlock was confirmed for a 3rd season, so it's coming back, which I'm very happy about because I really liked the 1st season. Meanwhile,
I just watched I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, no, go ahead. You just saw it?
I actually just watched the Study in Pink a few days ago. God damn, that was good.
Wasn't it good? Isn't it clever how they did it?
Really good. And what really, now that I've seen it, the news that Benedict, what's his Cumberfield?
Yes.
Benedict can you get any more British than your name being Benedict Cumberfield?
No.
But the fact that he's going to be playing the villain in the upcoming Star Trek movie, now I'm really curious to see what they do with him because he's got some mad skills.
Isn't it amazing how perfect he plays the part? And especially if you read the Sherlock Holmes stories. I mean, it's a modern day take, but he does a great job.
And he looks like, from his appearance, like his voice would be a bit higher and tighter. But when he talks, he sounds a lot deeper than I anticipated. So it surprised me. It is a fantastic show.
Yeah, very, very good. And the best part is I threw this in here too because CBS just greenlit a pilot called Elementary, which is a modern day take on the cases of Sherlock Holmes in New York City. But it's not a remake of Sherlock. It's something totally different. This is exactly what the plot of Sherlock is. Exactly. Except it's not in New York City, so I guess it's totally different. But whatever. I'm a big fan of this Sherlock. These seasons are really only like 3 movies.
And what network is it on?
BBC.
Okay.
The Bitches Be Crazy network. Here's a couple things at once. Some AMC news, I guess. Mad Men is returning March 25th to a 2-hour premiere. I don't watch it. A lot of other people do. So
Yes, so good. Thank God it's coming back.
you got Christina Hendricks. I like that part of it.
The redhead.
Does anybody else watch the
Is that
show?
the redhead? Jesus.
I haven't watched the show.
Yeah,
so.
I watch it, but I usually wait for the Blu Ray just so I can run through a marathon over the course of a couple of days.
Okay.
But it's good. I like it.
All right. Well, here's one that I'm not very happy about. I'm actually kind of irritated with this, but The Killing is returning April 1st, which, if you guys watched it last season, it's basically a, what do you call it? It's basically it's
Biggest waste of time all fucking year.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I disagree.
No, it's a big fucking waste of time. But it's a God, what's the term when a show continues?
Episodic?
Thank you.
Serial?
God, yeah, I was struggling. An episodic television show trying to search for a girl's killer. Well, they promised at the beginning of the last year that the killer would be revealed by the season finale. They promised. I remember seeing this interview because I wasn't going to watch it unless they did. Well, the finale came. They didn't reveal who the killer was. So they actually did this article that, or they did this quote, because they heard the fans uproar over this, because people were pissed. You know this, Scott. You watched the whole series. People were pissed about this. They swear this time they promise that the killer will be revealed by the end of the second season of The Killing.
That doesn't mean that the story will be wrapped up, though.
No, but here's the thing. If
Are
you
feeling
heard
like Charlie Brown.
Yes, if you heard
Lucy's holding that ball. I swear I won't move it.
if you fucking heard the fans uproar, why wouldn't you explain who the killer was in the premiere and go to another murder or something? What? The fact that you're dragging it out till the finale tells me you don't give a fuck about the fans.
Well, isn't this based on a British television show?
Yes.
And didn't the British television show also not answer who the killer was in its first season?
Yes, but they
So then you're mad that they lied.
yes,
more
that's
than anything.
exactly.
Okay.
If they would have said, you know what, we're not going to tell you who the killer is for quite some time. Okay, fine. But they went on record and said, we will tell you who the killer is by the finale. So if you stick with us, 13 episodes, we're going to tell you who did it.
See, I didn't hear that. I heard that they said that they would go through the killer would be revealed at some point. It wasn't like they were going to leave it hanging, and it wasn't going to be like, oh, build all this up and then never tell you how it ends. I didn't hear that they actually said they were going to do it at the end of the first season. They did say that.
They said they would have it wrapped up by the season 1 finale.
But okay, but can you, as a viewer, do you think that you could remove your anger or frustration from the equation? And if you do that, do you still feel like that first season, even though it ended without you knowing who did it, do you still feel like that season was worth watching, that it was compelling and of interest?
No.
It was for me.
I didn't think so at all. I finally
So then why did you watch it to the end if the show was that terrible?
No, I liked it, but I really wanted to see who the killer was. That was my driving force.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you remove your desire to know. Okay, let me say this. If in the last 5 minutes they told you who it was, would you have then found the entire series or season worth watching?
No, I guess it depends on who did it.
Okay, well, Brian says no. But so then your feeling is dependent on who did.
Go ahead.
because every episode was exactly the same. They find a little bit of evidence that points towards a person. They spend the next 15 minutes telling you why this person is a big suspect. They track him down. They arrest him, or either they confront him by midway through the show. And then by the end of the episode, they've got an alibi, and then they rule out that person, and then they hook you with the possibility of somebody else. And then it starts all over for 10 or 13 episodes, whatever it was. And then by the end of all that bullshit, you get down to the end of it for the payoff, and there's no fucking payoff. It's slow. There were a few redeeming moments, I guess, that, and for some God only knows reason, I kept coming back every episode. And I guess probably it was just my hard-headed personality to where I go, you know what, I'm going to finish this. I've invested 5 episodes or 6 episodes, whatever it is. I'm going to play this one out, and I'm going to keep finishing it. And it was bad. And I'll probably the second season. What I'll probably do is wait till the last. I'll watch probably the last 2 episodes, because the first, however many there are, will be the same thing. They'll just get you late. They'll get you going one way. You'll think it's somebody, and then they'll figure out some reason why it's not that person. So.
Okay, Scott, counterpoint.
Is Brian auto-tuned, or is that just me?
Yeah, Brian, I can't wait to hear this podcast, because I think the Skype is a little sketchy this week, and you might hear yourself.
Should have been like in a Kanye video.
It was kind of entertaining. You'll like it. Go ahead.
You guys know that I don't watch nearly as much TV as you guys do. Anything I watch, I'm usually watching movies. But this is the first series that I've watched from beginning to end since Lost. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a little slow, but I was still just enough intrigued in each episode. Where at the end of each one, I was like, I can't wait to see the next one. I had a lot of fun with that. I really like the characters. I think were a big part of this, especially the partner. I don't know the actor's name. The guy partner that was his
creepy dude.
Yeah, and I really liked him. I liked his character. I just liked seeing him work. I was disappointed that they didn't give away more than they did at the end. However,
like the actual killer.
Yeah, and I can say this without spoiling anything. If we know that we don't know who the killer is after seeing the end of season 1, that's kind of given away something in itself, I think, a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Because they kind of alluded some things at the very end. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not going to be.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
it's a cliffhanger that doesn't pan out.
Right.
They're already saying that they're not going to announce who the killer is until season 2 finale.
Right, but we already know who isn't the killer. If that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And we'll see how much.
If they stick to that.
Yeah, how many more red herrings they throw at you before the season's over.
I understand the frustration, and I do hope they wrap it up with this season. I think I would have preferred if this were just a one and done kind of thing, but it did so well that I can see why they want to keep going. But I enjoyed it, and I'll be watching this one for sure.
This is a show that there was a show a couple of years ago called Harper's Island that did it. What I thought perfect.
I loved Harper's Island. Yeah, good show.
That was a very good show, but it had with that material, they had a very limited run. They knew that they couldn't do 2, 3, 5 seasons with that stuff, so they said, all right, we're going to pack it all into one season. And that whole series was, every episode you thought you had it figured out and you didn't, or you may have, whatever the case was, but it was really good.
It was,
and that's what they should have done with The Killing, was have it all wrapped up in one season, and that would have been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. The thing, I guess, Scott, from my perspective, I feel like they cheated the audience. Mm-hmm. You told me to have these expectations, and I stuck with you, even when I was getting bored with the show.
Lost.
No, not like Lost. I would disagree with you.
Don't even get me fucking started.
Okay, but. In terms of, I stuck with it, especially since I thought it was getting really boring. I was getting really repetitive. I don't mind red herrings, but it's just like Brian said, every episode was becoming exactly the same. You might have got some character depth here and there, but it was the same fucking shit over and over and over. And, when I've seen enough, thank God Justin said it, episodic television to last
It's actually serialized.
Yeah, serialized. That's what I was looking for, serialized. I've seen enough serialized storytelling to last me a lifetime. I mean, so I didn't want to start with another show that I had to stick with, but I had to stick with it. And especially when I got to about episode 6, 7, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm more than halfway through it. Fuck it. I'll just write it out. I want to see the end. And then the end hits and it's just like, fuck you. Fuck you. There's no way I'll never watch the show again. I don't care how wonderful people tell me it is. They basically shit on me as a viewer. They've treated me like they don't appreciate me as a viewer. They told me things were going to be a certain way, and I expect that to happen. I didn't sit the shit out so I can go through a whole nother season of 13 episodes doing the same shit.
Have they given an explanation?
No, I'm done. No.
They
They said that originally they were going to do that, but they changed their mind because they thought the story was so strong. That's what they said. It wasn't. They were wrong. They're mistaken.
You should call this episode "Shitting on the Killing." I guess my final point on this is that if you feel impassioned enough about that ending not being what you want it to be, I would feel like that sort of passion should only come from you being that engaged by the show. And therefore, if you're that engaged and you had that much interest, even though you didn't get what you wanted, you still got a season's worth of show that you love or that you really enjoyed. And that alone should make you want to come back. Yeah, you get upset, but you got upset for a reason. People don't get really upset about stuff they don't care about. And I can
kind of like the devil inside.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of enjoyed where they were going at the end. They finally were pulling shit out of the ditch and were fixing it, and it was cool. And then they just shit in your face.
Well, normally I would agree with you, but in this case, I do not. I was really getting bored with the show by episode 6 or 7, right. But I really wanted to know who did it, and I'm sure I think that's kind of what Brian was saying too. Is that when you have the tagline,
the whole thing that you promote it with is "Who killed Rosie Larson," and you don't tell who killed Rosie Larson, you fucked something up. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Wrap it up. Wrap up the murder, and then then you could do the whole next season with, some kind of
another killing,
or maybe just some shady politicians, whatever the case is. Some cover up scandal, and go on from there. It turns out it's actually some Bosnian women selling or something like that.
That's what I was going for, Bosnian women. Well,
I get what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like if you're this passionate, that means something. But normally, I do see what you're saying.
Normally, you would be right, but I don't
think the show's worth.
When I go to the dentist and he, drills out a cavity and hits a nerve, and I come out of that chair screaming, that's not because I like that feeling so much. It's because I hated it that much.
I didn't think it was a horrible show, but they just cheated the viewer. They cheated him. Cheat.
Anyway, Mad Men, March 25th.
Yep, check it out. Okay, well, that's it for TV news. We went on way too long on that topic, but I don't care. It was worth going on. Did anybody see? Really, the only thing that I could think of was Alcatraz. Has anybody seen it?
I've got it sitting on my DVR waiting for me. I just haven't had a chance yet. I've finished season 3 of The Wire, and so I'm taking a good, long, healthy break from that. So I watched that Sherlock Holmes episode, and I think I'm going to start watching Boardwalk Empire. I ended up picking that up on Blu Ray. It was like $35 on Blu Ray. So I'm going to start watching that, but Alcatraz is waiting, and I want to. I did catch up on the 2 latest episodes of Supernatural, though. They were so good.
I'm sure they were.
I can't believe it was so good. So glad it's back.
Well, we'll have more TV reviews next week then. We got Alcatraz and Justified season premieres on tonight. So I just caught up on season 2 of the Blu Ray season 2. So can't wait for that. Pretty excited.
I don't know if any of you guys watched the Betty White comedy, where it's kind of like Punk'd, but with old people.
No.
That shit was funny.
What's it called? Do you know what it's called?
Punk'd with old people.
Yeah, I like that title. Go with Punk'd with old people. Betty White, still kicking.
I forgot the title. I didn't write it down, but it's
Hipped or something, as in Broca? I don't know.
But there's you got this guy this old guy sitting in a little scooter with some headphones, and he's sitting in front of a magazine stand, and there's all kinds of people walking by, and he's singing, shake that ass, shake that ass.
What the fuck just happened?
asked the lady, says, "Hey, look, I need an action. I'm going to come around this. Would you take a picture of me? I'm going to come jogging around this corner. I need an action shot. Would you mind taking a picture?" She goes, "No, that's fine." So she's standing there waiting. He says, he comes around the corner and he's butt naked. and the lady actually takes a picture of him. So it's actually really funny. So,
and this is what you plan to watch for your night. You and the wife, you're sitting at home and you're like, let's watch the Betty White punk show.
What they need to do is they need to combine Wipeout and old people.
Wipeout?
that show with
Are you trying to wipe out old people?
Well, maybe.
Wow.
Thin the herd.
Wasn't her birthday special on last night too, or something?
Yeah, it followed her 90th birthday special.
Is it called Off Their Rockers?
Off Their Rockers, yeah.
Yep, Off Their Rockers. Wow.
Is that on country music television or something?
No, it's on NBC.
No, it's on NBC.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes you sadder, doesn't it?
Kind of.
Okay, well, let's move on to what's coming up on DVD and Blu-ray. The January 24th. Here's what's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. Paranormal Activity 3. That's the third in the trilogy, which there's going to be a fourth,
3?
So, yeah. What'd you say?
It's not just a clever
hence
title.
The 3 at
Hence
the end
the
of
3.
it?
Real Steel. That's the Hugh Jackman flick about him being a worthless dad and some rock'em sock'em robots. 50-50. Cancer comedy. Nothing says funny like cancer. The Whistleblower and Meet the Browns, season 4. They're on fucking season 4 of that show?
Have you ever watched that show?
No. I haven't.
Jesus, it's on one of the TVs at the gym I go to, and I don't hear it, but I just see it, and just even watching it is fucking painful.
I think I saw one episode, and all I could think of, how is that funny?
It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's not funny.
It's
and
not
I can't.
funny.
It's awful.
But if you say it's not funny, you're a racist. So.
Oh, it's awful. African Americans, please demand better.
You should. You should
demand better.
Demand better. And okay, so let's go with purchase of the week. If you had to buy one of these movies, which one would you buy, Mr. McCumber?
Shit, do I even have to say?
Yeah.
Real Steel.
Real Steel.
And that was on my top 5. I liked Paranormal Activity 3, but Real Steel was in my top 5 films of last year.
Brian Williams?
I second the motion. Real Steel was one of the most fun movies of 2011. I'll definitely pick that one up.
I'm going with Real Steel as well. Scott Clark?
Meet the Browns. I'm joking. The only one
that's funnier than anything in that season. I promise you.
If I had to purchase one, I would say Paranormal Activity 3, only because it's the only one I've seen out of that lot. But I'm most excited for Real Steel just because of you guys talking about it. I'm going to definitely be watching that one.
We're gonna do a joint
friend?
decision and change your purchase. You should purchase Real Steel if you're gonna buy one.
I'm not going to blindly buy a movie.
Scott, didn't you say you were going to have a friend watch all 3 of the Paranormals?
Yeah, it comes on the 24th, and we're going to do all 3 back to back on a Saturday.
I'll be curious to hear how that goes.
Definitely. Maybe
Now, are you going to watch them 1, 2, 3, or are you going to go 3, 2, 1?
I was going to recommend 1, 2, 3. I think it works well that way. Actually,
I think so, probably.
Because
I think you'd spoil shit if you.
You're gonna spoil the surprise of.
Yeah, you got to watch 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Okay. And every week we do a flashback DVD / Blu-ray by one of our hosts. So basically what that is a little known or obscure film that maybe you haven't heard of or you have heard of but didn't know much about that our hosts recommend. And so hopefully when you leave the podcast, you've kind of got a recommendation of what you want to see or something you want to see. And also we started putting these on the website so you can find them at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There's a little tab called Flashback Movies. Just click on that. They'll have the most recent episode with a link to the film to buy it if you wish. So with that, this week it's Justin McCumber's turn. Sir, what is your flashback?
All right. This film is probably the saddest, most heartbreaking film I have ever seen in my 39 years on this planet. And it's a film that I am so grateful that I've seen and that I think everyone should see. I've never seen it twice because it is such an impactful film. It came out in 1988 and it's an animated film. Hopefully that won't throw too many people. And it's a Japanese animated film. So I'm really kind of maybe throwing some people off. If you're one of those people, I urge you, overcome your hesitation to see a Japanese animated film. This does not contain any robots, any tentacle porn, anything of the sort. It's a movie called Grave of the Fireflies. It takes place during World War II in Japan, and you're following the lives of two children, Sita and Setsuko, whose parents are killed during the war. And so these two children have to make their way across just a war-ravaged Japan to get to a relative's house to take care of them. You will cry and cry and cry. It's a really difficult film. And it's a subject matter that we don't often think about, because in most World War II movies, of course the Japanese and the Germans are always the bad guys. You never see how the war impacted the civilians of those countries who really had nothing to do with it and weren't a part of the military. They were just citizens like we are of our own country, swallowing the stuff their government tells them. But these are children, and they're having to make their way across Japan. It's incredibly sad, but I defy anyone to watch it and not be moved by the struggles of these characters. It's directed by, and pardon me for butchering these names, I believe his name is Isao Takahata. I believe it's also based on a novel. Please go watch this film. It's hard, but I think it's ultimately incredibly worth it to watch the film and just absorb these children's lives and see what they go through. And I defy you not to at least go through a couple of boxes of Kleenex.
That's a trilogy as well, isn't it? Isn't there a series of those?
I don't know. I've only ever seen the Grave of the Fireflies. With the way this one ends, I don't know how you would have any films come after it.
Okay.
It's a good movie and hard to find, but it's worth it if you can find it.
Yeah.
So, and I think it just got re-released, so it's going to be re-released here soon.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's good little film. Very sweet. And that's Justin McCumber. So with that, we go into From the Outside In. Every week we talk about a topic that's catching ours or our listeners' attention. This week we're going to talk about, kind of because of the devil inside, our
shitty endings? No.
That would be a great topic. We'll get there later.
And the Mist would come into that?
Oh, shut up. The Devil Inside was extremely successful. It cost $1 million to make or less, and it's already made like $46 million. So of course Hollywood is going crazy because a lot of these little found footage flicks are making a lot of money and don't cost much at all to make. Look at Paranormal Activity. 1, 2, and 3, they total cost less than $10 million and have made like $300 million domestic.
And
So
most of that money is probably promotion.
yeah,
The first Paranormal Activity cost $15,000 to put that thing together. And I think the $1 million that you're hearing on Devil Inside, that's what Paramount paid for that movie. That's not what it cost to make it. That's what they paid to acquire it. So it cost even less than that.
Well, the question is, do you guys think micro-budgeted films like this, and this topic came up on Deadline, actually, .com, but do you think micro-budgeted films like The Devil Inside are going to change how Hollywood makes films? Do you think it's going to affect the future business model? Because we're getting a lot of, we've got Chronicle coming out, obviously Paranormal Activity 4. There's a lot of these that are being made right now. What do you guys think?
No.
You don't?
I think they'll use these films as a way to earn quick, easy cash. But I don't see, there's no way you can make a Hollywood summer blockbuster type film for the kind of budget these movies do. These kinds of budgets will inevitably produce a certain type of movie. Those types of movies usually aren't going to be the types of films that open up a summer. And I think that's where Hollywood really, that's where they keep their eyes focused on the big budget, big bonanza films.
Well, here's what I would I would argue that The Devil Inside was successful out of the gate strictly because of marketing. I really think marketing is what sold it. I really don't think it's necessarily the micro budget. Oh, look, it's a found footage flick. I think people were enticed by the fact that, oh, this looks cool. Looks cool.
Mm-hmm. It was a great trailer.
I think the marketing department did a wonderful job of making it a must-see film until people actually saw it. And then,
Well, it's a great trailer, and that whole found footage thing is, really gained momentum. So that alone is going to compel people to go into a theater and see it. But there have been micro budget and small budget films forever. Some successful, like Clerks. A lot of them not. But I don't think any of those have ever compelled Hollywood to change the way that they do things. And I don't think these will either. I think they're just going to be a part of their strategy, but not really altering it in any big noticeable way.
I think what's more important is that it goes to show that it doesn't take a huge budget to make a good movie. The budget isn't the deciding factor of what's going to make a movie a good movie. Sure, it may make it look very pretty, it may make it very explosive, that kind of thing, but you can make a entertaining movie without spending millions and millions of dollars on it.
Mm-hmm.
But like Justin said, I don't see them changing that model because if it's not broke, why fix it?
well, part of that stems because Universal closed the deal with Michael Bay and a bunch of other people, and they're going to do a very small budgeted film called Vigilandia. I don't know if I have no idea if I'm saying that even close to right, but Ethan Hawke's going to be in it. I mean, they've got like real actors now that are approaching these little micro budgeted flicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see that how the model is turning a little bit, how they're embracing it more as a mainstream filmmaking opportunity as opposed to, it's kind of like, I think when it first started, it was just like Clerks. It was a bunch of indie makers that couldn't afford a real movie. They couldn't afford the budget to make a real motion picture. So they did found footage because you can make it really cheap. You can make something interesting really cheap. And especially after Blair Witch pioneered that whole trend. I mean, they went crazy. And I think now that other studios are seeing that you can make some pretty novel concepts with the small budget found footage type stories, there's a lot of more opportunities there. Like Chronicle is one that I think is really kind of innovative if they do it right. Things like that.
Yeah, but are you going to buy a found footage movie if you see a super well-known actor in it? Part of the appeal of those is that you're seeing a bunch of people that you've never seen in anything else, except for like in the Paranormal Activity movies, those that were in the sequels or the prequels. You see a Harrison Ford or a Robert Downey Jr. in a found footage movie, it's going to break that whole mentality of it being a found footage because you're seeing a recognizable actor.
Yeah, but if you see Ethan Hawke, that ain't going to do shit because it's Ethan Hawke.
Well, part of me hopes that they don't keep trying to go back to this because I enjoy this genre, and I would hate to see found footage films get beat to death. And I really worry that The Devil Inside is the first sign of the found footage apocalypse, and they're just going to be on a downward trajectory because now they know, hey, spend $1 million, get a lot of people to see it, and boom, we're making money. I don't want to see them do that. I'd like to see them put more into it. So hopefully they don't change too much, but I do agree with Scott. A lot of times, a lot of money, all it can do is ruin a film because then they're throwing all sorts of effects and shit in the movie that throw off and diminish what it could have been. So money doesn't always solve things, but I don't know. Hollywood's so stuck in what they're doing. I don't think it's ultimately going to be that big a deal.
Well, this was, like you said about the Blair Witch, this was a popular topic about that time after that came out, and especially with the rise of digital video cameras where, anybody could buy a camera and make a movie. I don't think it'll change really the way that Hollywood makes movies. I just think it opens up the doors for more people to make movies. And maybe in a small way, it might affect it a little bit just because, that just gives more properties for the bigger conglomerates and everything to buy up. But I just think it opens the door for more people to make movies. And
more independence, you mean?
Yeah, more independence. Like you said, what was the movie where the two people in Central America are trying to work their way back to the United States? That was made for, $20,000 or $50,000 or something like that. It was ridiculous. And so it's just I think, like I said, I think it just opens up the doors for more people.
Could you guys see any of these found footage movies as being anything but like horror or science fiction kind of? Like, I don't know where else.
I think so. In that Project X, I really have no idea ultimately what direction they're going to go with it. But it seems like it's a found footage about a kid's party that kind of escalates out of control. It could go into a kind of a more horroristic bent at the end. I'm not sure, but I think the genre is that, or that type of film, found footage. It can be whatever you want it to be. It just takes really creative, inventive people to make it interesting. I think Chronicle, though, is going to be a little more expensive than maybe people think, because some of the special effects I've seen in it, while they look appropriate for that kind of video camera, that's still not cheap.
No, yeah, you're right.
But I would love to see a sci-fi film done this way, you know, almost totally from the helmet cams of the people in it, or I don't think you could do a fantasy ye old camera. But, I don't know, I'd like to see them stretch it and make it be more than
like the Lord of the Rings with found footage.
Right. Where it's like a flip book where somebody sat there and drew pages of the battle.
That's awesome. Well, Cloverfield was kind of like that. I mean, it was science fiction.
That's true. That's true. It was a very horror-y science
But it was
fiction.
still very much like crisis or, disaster has struck.
And those films kind of make sense now with everybody having a camera in their, hip pocket.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, give you an example. A movie that made me think of this was one of your flashback mentions, Justin, was Once. That movie, it was very much a drama, almost not really a romance, but
Kinda,
yeah. I mean, but it felt like it didn't feel like a filmed movie. It just felt like somebody was videotaping them.
right?
Just like it was like somebody's home video, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like it just felt, and that made it feel more real. I like to see
natural.
Yeah, I like to see more. I like to see some dramas that way and like found footage. Like you brought up Cloverfield. Remember how like in Cloverfield they kept coming back to these home videos, like it was taped over, where they had taped over like their date. They went out on a date together and that kind of stuff. Like I thought that was really clever. I don't know if that would work as a full movie, but I like the concept, and I think something like that could work.
As long as eventually they show the real home video footage. You know what I'm saying?
And then we get the porn version.
Exactly.
Like Paranormal Activity 3, and that was the beginning of it, right?
Yeah, they were starting to, and they fucking got all spooky on you. I was really excited for that movie. Well, that'll be interesting to see. I think there's a lot more coming down the pike, obviously. I said coming down the pike.
Coming down the pike. But you realized as soon as you said it, too.
Yep, I did. Awesome. Shit. But there's a lot of that stuff coming around the mountain.
When she comes.
And that'll be the movie I want to see. So keep an eye on. We'll see what happens. I really want to see what larger studios do with this concept as opposed to independent filmmakers, to see if they can actually make something successful. Outside of Cloverfield, I think that was just a lucky break.
I like Cloverfield.
Well, I know a lot of people like Cloverfield. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people did. So
I like the movie. I just hated the fact that it was, an hour 45 minutes of shaky cam.
Yeah.
The movie itself is fine. If there was like a DVD version where it was without shaky cam, I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, you like the third Bourne movie, I'll bet, right?
That's going to be your argument?
Bourne movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of shaky cam in that.
The Bourne Ultimatum?
A lot of shaky cam.
Yeah, but there's
shaky
a lot,
cam has its place.
But it stops at some point.
Yeah, at some point it does stop and holds on an actor.
It stops, and it might pick up a little bit later, but it's an hour and a half, hour 45 of nonstop nausea. To hell with that.
Exactly.
And I like the found footage also that goes in that fake documentary direction. Kind of what they did a little bit with The Devil Inside and The Last Exorcism. That whole idea of I am hiring you to film me to make a documentary, as opposed to, hey, I got a camera, let me just film shit going on. Whoa, what's that? It gives a little more credibility to why someone wouldn't just drop the camera and run.
Yes.
See, I like more of the Battle Los Angeles type, where it's shaky enough to where you feel like it's obviously the perspective of one person, and you feel like you're there running around Los Angeles that's being blasted out by aliens and everything. But you feel like you're there in it, but it stops. The camera stops at some point, and you can, you don't have to take Dramamine to watch a movie.
Yeah.
That's all.
I understand what you're saying. And I do it's really hard for me to buy it. Like you're talking about, Justin, where you realize people should be putting that camera down and running for their life's sake, and they don't. I mean, Paranormal Activity is a perfect example. At some point, you leave the camera. You don't, oh my God, I'm being attacked. You know what I'm going to do?
Well,
I'm going to pick up this camera and I'm going to walk around the
camera's
apartment.
got a light on it, and I need this light, so let me, the camera's got to come with it. Yeah. That was it. I kind of chuckled when he said that, because I'm like, all right, you have a credible reason to keep that camera pointed in front of you because the light points that same direction. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, but like in Cloverfield, I mean, the guy's running through a underground subway tunnel, chased by shit, and yeah, he's still got that camera on his shoulder, and he's running forward with it. No, I'm sorry, the monsters would be shitting on that camera before I dropped it.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, that is our From the Outside In topic for the week. Like I said, every week we come up with a different one. Sometimes it's riveting, sometimes it's not. That's up for you to decide, so you let us know. If there's something you want to suggest, feel free to do so at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com, or you can twat us. So, does
that email address work?
feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com, or
you
twat.
Sure it still works? Maybe you need to test it.
I didn't know twat was a verb.
It is. I think tweets be used too much, and I don't really like to follow the trend, so.
You're like Shocker.
Yeah.
The shocker of the twat.
Wow. Here's the thing. It's funny when you just say twat us. It's not funny when you put those two things together. You took it to a different level, Scott. Okay, now we're going to come back to Stump the HO and get the answer. First, let's repeat the question. Scott Clark, what was your Stump the HO question?
Well, my question was from the original Fight Club movie. There was a infamous line where Marla rolls over and says to Tyler, I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. And as I mentioned, this wasn't the original line from the script. The original line was, which of these lines? A, I want to have your abortion. B, next time you get to be the urinal. C, you remind me of my stepfather. Or D, I'm not going to sit right for a week. All three of you chose A, I want to have your abortion. And yes, that was the correct answer.
Was it?
How many of you actually knew it?
I already knew
I actually did know it because it's in the outtakes. of the Blu Ray or the DVD.
Okay.
Yep. I knew
funny.
it too.
Actually, there's actually a funny story with that. It'll only take me a couple of seconds, I promise.
Time's up.
Fincher put that in the script, and one of the higher ups from the studio said, "No way, you're changing that." And they made a deal. Yeah, okay, we'll change it. So he changed it to "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school." And she saw it, and she's like, "That's worse," and wanted to go back to the original. And he's like, "Nope, that's the deal." And it stuck. So I thought that was.
What I think is funny is that you actually had to make up those other three.
I did. I got to give a shout out to some friends at work because they helped me come up with them. So.
Speaking of sick fucks, real quick, Aaron, how'd your experience with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with your mom go?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Was that uncomfortable or what?
It was interesting to watch for the anal rape scene.
Yeah,
but it's funny because my mom doesn't flinch at all. She's just like, they did that very well. I'm like, what? She did.
As opposed to the other rape scenes that she's...
Well, no, because she read the books and she, saw the foreign... She actually likes the foreign film better than this one.
Okay.
And she likes the girl in the foreign film better, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Noomi Rapace, she likes her a lot better. But she's like, well, they shot that very well. And the only thing I'm thinking of is the anal rape scene. They shot really well. Yeah, okay. But the saddest part was my dad also came with, and he just looks petrified. He did. It's funny because I'm sitting with my mom. She's not flinching at all because, I mean, this woman took me to horror movies when I was like 7 years old. So obviously this is nothing new. But my dad, he just looks uncomfortable. It looks like he wants to leave. I don't know. I don't know if he was a little leery because, oh, crap, this reminds me of high school.
Like, I don't want to do that.
So did y'all follow that up with like a screening of Caligula after that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Just a palate cleanser?
It was fun.
I had to ask. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
There was actually a couple that got up and walked out because
during that scene.
Yeah, they got disturbed.
You should have thrown your popcorn at them. Get out, you prudes!
Yeah, you fucking prude! It's really.
This is my mom. She's watching it.
It's shot tastefully, apparently.
This tasteful ass rape.
Oh. Once again, a couple words you don't put together. Just saying.
Two great tastes taste great together.
And also our movie quote. So if you guys know the answer to the movie quote that came earlier in the show, please feel free to wad us or Facebook us or anything else if you think you know the anscer.
Now
It makes you giggle, doesn't it?
Now twat has 2 syllables. To wad us.
Tawadas. Tawadas. Sounds like pancakes. I want some tawadas.
What?
I don't know.
Move on.
That is
Never.
our podcast. And my mom did have a great time, by the way. She loved the movie. She was very happy to see anal rape at noon.
Probably
On a Saturday.
brought back a lot of memories for her.
And then she said she wanted to talk to me about who my real daddy was. I don't know what that means.
Didn't happen that way.
It might. Maybe they broke through.
Okay, let's. Wow.
That is the
Bye-bye.
that
Bye-bye,
is
listeners.
this is that was
It's nice knowing you.
that was the Hollywood Outsider podcast. Hopefully we'll get another one after this episode. I want to thank our hosts, Brian Williams, who's available on Twitter at BrianWMS. Brian, thanks for coming.
Fuck you for laughing every time you say that, bitch.
Oh, and we appreciate you being auto-tuned this week as well. Justin McCumber from
You missed it.
It works out. He's also the host of the Dead Robot Society podcast. That's a podcast for writers, about writers. And you can also find him on justinmccumber.com. That always makes me laugh, too. Because it's justinmccumber.com.
That's right.
Scott Clark, thanks for coming.
Not a problem, man. Thanks for having me.
He's the host of the Official Thread podcast. That's a podcast for gamers. And you can also reach him at Official Thread on Twitter. I'm gone next week, so Mr. Clark will be handling hosting duties. I'll
Woot.
be in Warmth, and also I will probably be at some point either paintballing or being ravaged by Brian Williams in the woods. So I'm hoping it's paintball, because that's what he keeps telling me.
And if you're really lucky, it'll be both.
Wow. I'm going to be getting my own room somewhere. So make sure, after you listen to next week's episodes, to contact Scott and tell him how much you missed me. That would be great. So with that, you can find us. Make sure to stay through the credits every week for outtakes. If you listen through the end song, there's usually some outtakes somewhere in the middle there. You can find us on thehollywoodoutsiders.com every week, or on Facebook at facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can email us if you want to give us a Stump the HO question, or maybe a From the Outside In topic, or just want to give some general feedback at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Make sure to tell your friends, subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader, listen on your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any plain old RSS feed. We're also available on Twitter at H_outsider. And remember, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
I heard sometimes you play words with friends while we're recording the podcast. Is that true?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's why you take so long to answer sometimes, fuckstick.
You know, maybe if you'd show up on time, I wouldn't be playing with Amber.
Yeah, maybe if you pay attention to the podcast, there wouldn't be so many uhs. I like that, bitch.
Well, I get lost in your ramblings. After about 3 or 4 minutes of explanation on something, I start zoning out. So.
If our own hosts are bored by our show,
What's that?
if the hosts are bored by the show,
Yeah, no shit.
Well, she normally means what she says. She's a woman who, says what she means, and so I believed her. Didn't do anything,
First
didn't get
mistake.
anything, and as we're finishing up dinner, she's like, "So where's my dessert?" I'm like, "What dessert?" She's like,
It's in my
birthday
pants."
dessert. That's what I should have said. Women, the fuck you gonna do? You know it.
Can't live with them. Can't suck your own dick.
What? I hear that.
Where the fuck do you come up with this shit? Seriously. Can't live with them, can't suck your own dick.
Oh, it ain't gonna suck itself.
And by the way, if you guys do this podcast and I have not responded to any of Scott's messages, that means Brian killed me. Just so you know. Because he gave me directions to where I'm going, and that sounds an awful lot like rape. No, seriously, he's like, he gives me directions, and he's like, well, when you get to Jacksonville, you go up 95, and then you take this exit, and then go about 15 miles, and don't be alarmed when you don't see any houses or people or anything else, and then come up to the camper.
For me letting you go, no time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home.